have spent hours watching the sun flow under ancient stone bridges and watchful golden angels, bearing heavy barges and speeding boats, past tree-lined cobblestone banks. I am repeatedly drawn to her, enamored. In her green dress with shimmering lights, she is the siren of Paris. I went to the market nearby the apartment and got flowers to replace my dying ones. This flower man was good. He took the time to strip the thorns, pluck out some leaves, and wrap the bouquet in brown paper. Then I bought some leafy bunches of parsley and mint from one of the other stands. But they laughed at me because I didn't understand what they were saying. I shrugged it off and flounced away with my treasures. I didn't feel so well after that. I think I'm coming down with something. I hope not that. But I can still smell things, so I don't think it's that. I knew I shouldn't waste this beautiful sunny day, so I roused myself, packed a lunch with the last of my quiche, some ratatouille, and some hot mint tea. I wanted lunch by the Seine, so I found this place on the map. Pont Sully, just below Square Barye, curiously empty for a sunny Saturday. Before the market this morning, I went to Champ de Mars and Passerelle de Billy, wanting to be there before the crowds come. At Passerelle de Billy was a woman in a white dress made of tulle, twirling en pointe in her satin ballet shoes. It was a surreal scene. She looked like a lovely sprite or a ghost dancing on a nearly empty bridge over the Seine, the tower rising behind her. Today I'm beneath the shade of great big trees by Pont Sully, watching boats go by the Seine and people walking on the side of the river. This little hideaway is the companion tip on Ile Saint-Louis to my other favorite, Square du Vec-Colon on Ile de la Cité. I cannot go too long without spending time by the river. I'm reading a book, The Seine by Elaine Sciolino, which quotes Napoleon Bonaparte's declaration that the Seine is Paris's main street. And I would have to agree. The Seine runs through my life here. I am compelled always to return, every other day at least, to stroll, to run, to dream on its banks. Sciolino writes, "The Seine is the most romantic river in the world. She encourages us to dream, to linger, to flirt, to fall in love, or to at least fantasize that falling in love is possible. The light bouncing off her banks and bridges at night can carry even the least imaginative of us into flights of fantasy." Way back in antiquity, the Gauls worshipped the river goddess, whom the Romans called Sequana, which means sacred river. She was a goddess of healing, and a temple was erected at the spring from where the great river began. Over time, the name Sequana became the Seine. There is a tale that originated in the 18th century of a beautiful nymph, Sequana, who catches the eye of the god Neptune and begins to obsessively pursue her. Sequana flees and calls upon the god Bacchus and the goddess Ceres for aid. They heed Sequana's cries, and just as Neptune seizes her, the green-robed nymph transforms into a river, at once slipping through Neptune's clutches. To this day, the tale goes, the nymph flows and glides through all her favorite places in her water form. I am feeling slightly better after some tea and lunch, and I think I'll go exploring a bit more. I can always go home if it gets too much. People keep walking by thinking they could go to the other side from here and that there's another bench to be found. You have the whole other side to explore, for heaven's sake, I want to tell them. Leave me in my little shady spot at least. Am I cross? I sound cross, I know. I am so jealous of Paris, like a lover of a beautiful woman. Too many admire her. I want her all to myself. I suppose I should relinquish this lovely spot, but I like it here. How I'm solitary, but can see lots of people promenading from my vantage point. A lunch cruise is drifting by, Bateau Parisien. I can see people being served inside. I bet my lunch was better. After my solitary lunch by the Seine beneath Square Barye, I made my way across Pont Sully, spying a patch of green, some flowers. I then slowly strolled a block up to Jardin des Plantes, a magnificent park to rival Luxembourg. There is a natural history museum and an arboretum. Both you have to pay for, which I didn't because the day before I was at Jardin des d'été, which was free. I wanted to tell everyone queuing for the arboretum, but the gardens were free. All sorts of beautiful plants and flowers from all over the world. They had a rose garden and even a labyrinth. On either side, there were long avenues of shady trees with lots of benches. There is a woman who goes around blowing her whistle and yelling at people to get off the grass. I want to yell at them too. There is an abundance of benches and patches of lawn dedicated just for sitting and picnicking. You think you're living like a main character in a novel by going to Paris for a weekend? I live here. That last quote was overheard as I was sitting in Jardin des Plantes underneath some shady trees. It was spoken by a rather hefty-looking American girl, probably here for school exchange program, Paris for a year. She sounded so bitter and angry. I'm surmising she must have had a run-in with an influencer or some such, or she just derides the tourists. She was gallumping through the park, rather loud and entitled. Or perhaps she just stood out to me because she was American and I could understand her. All these juicy conversations I'm missing because I don't understand the language. That's the most impetus I can have, really. I want to eavesdrop so badly. But no, the couple exchanging passionate endearments next to me, the urgent fights, the secrets being imparted all around me, they are safe. I do not understand. Instead, I make up stories. The people watching and story making I so love to do. There is a couple sitting by the steps of the rose garden. At least one of them does not appear to speak fluent French, for they are both speaking in accented English. It seems to be a first date, each one gently finding out about the other in halting English. They are speaking slowly, using simple words for their questions and answers. Ah, the delicate dance of courtship. I wonder if the roses in full bloom surrounding them and the amorous air of early summer are enough to sweep these two to mutual enchantment. As I am so sluggish in the heat and because I was feeling not that energetic, I promised myself I would only stay until 5, then straight to home. Well, not quite straight. I stopped by the corner boulangerie. At this point, it was most likely that I wasn't going to have the energy to run 6 miles, or even any miles the next morning, but I didn't want to forgo my weekly ritual. So I bought my baguette de Chanel and pain au chocolat. I went home and had tartines and mugs of hot mint tea, avocado and a garlic and shallot cheese spread from Lidl. Then off to bed, feeling worse and worse by the minute. I do hope it's just a cold.